That's what it feels like to me. And if you want to play a broken record, you can play a broken record for as long as you want. But that's what this feels like to me right now. It's that old, and I don't want to just do the mundane thing, but it's that old definition of insanity.
Yeah.
Let's just do the exact same thing and expect a different result. And what's, I guess, concerning for me is I really feel it from the fan base. The fan base feels worn out on this story, this broken record.
And it's multiple stories. And I think you're right. It's the Draymond Green story, and it's also the Klay Thompson story. But quietly, it's become the Steve Kerr story, which is, Moody's playing great. Why don't you play Moody? And what are you doing with Podziemski and the young players? And when things go bad, the coach always takes on more water than he should. Sure. But last night, I think, was a crystallizing example of what fans are frustrated by, because the team was starting to fail and they were looking listless, and Moody comes in and Moody is immediately lighting it up, and he's hot and he's playing great and energy. And then it's boop, 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 time to go to the bench. And he comes out, and that's it for Moses.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's frustrating.
Well, of course. And I didn't love Steve's answer. I didn't love it. I totally accept we needed Wiggins defense on Fox. Okay. I can completely accept that. And then his next sentence is the one that's hard for Warriors fans to accept. And we decided to stick with Klay. And people are, oh, God. Okay. So it's a micro version of the same decision that the organization has made both in games, in contracts, in times of distress. It's, we're going to stick with Klay. We're going to stick with Draymond. We're going to stick. And so it's just a clock. That's all this is. Clock.
Nice.
It's just a clock. And you got to decide when the clock is broken, because you're going to stick with it. You're going to make the same decision every time. And as long as you win most of the time, even if you do sort of what you did last year, you dance around second round, third round, you don't win a title, you can still sort of get this by the goalie. This idea of we're going to stick with him no matter what. But you start losing more games than you win, you start ending up in play-in tournaments. I think it's a very fair question. Warriors, when are you going to try something else?
Especially when you lose like that in that game where you're up by 24 and you are in full control, and there was really no reason for them to lose that game. There was a situation where you were in command of the game and it started to get away, and then you got a shot of life from Moses Moody, and then ultimately you went away from him, and then you got to the end of the game and you still had control of that game with about a minute and a half to go. And, Steph Curry against pressure with a terrible pass to no one. And then Draymond and Klay were not on the same page. And, Draymond thought Klay was going back door, and Klay was trying to flash high to get the ball, and the wing extended, and Draymond bounce passes it to no one. And then they come down and they score again, and you're out of timeouts because Steve Kerr challenged a play that he shouldn't have challenged. And it was a perfect storm of errors from all of them that led to a game you had no business losing.
No, it was absolutely the worst night of the year. There's no two ways about it. But for me, let's zero in even a little further, because this is what I sense. Tell me if I'm wrong. I sense from fans, there's a lot of things that we can accept. Every sports year, doesn't matter the sport, you're going to have a few memorable losses that you walk away and you're just like, well, they figured out how to blow the hell out of that one. You blew it. You just absolutely blew it. Niners against the Browns. You blew it.
Nice.
Okay? Same thing, Warriors last night. I think fans accept a few of those per year. Steph Curry's assist-to-turnover ratio. It's not good, but fans are going to accept it. Why? Because it's Steph. He's doing a bunch of other stuff right. He does very, very little wrong. But there's two stories right now that I think fans are just done with. They don't even want to be done with them because we love these guys. Like, I don't love when the rhetoric goes the way it's going right now with Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. These guys are Warrior legends, and they'll remind you of that. And I think that we all acknowledge that. But there are two stories right now that are wearing people out within games. Number one, Klay searching for his shot. That has worn people out. Number 2, Draymond searching for his cool. Those are the 2 things that so many games keep being about. That's the broken record. Klay searching for his shot, Draymond searching for his cool. I'd rather just watch the Warrior game and see if they can find a win, as opposed to looking at these 2 guys seemingly go in search for their psyche in the middle of the game, and when they don't find it, then we go to Steve Kerr and go, are you going to let them keep searching for their psyche, or are you going to get them off the floor? And his answer is pretty much the same thing every time. I'm going to let them keep searching for their psyche. And while I understand it, I just think fans are done. I think fans are done with those 2 stories.
Well, and the one story, the Draymond Green searching for his cool, spoiler alert, he'll never find his cool, because what we want him to find, he's not looking for. Draymond Green is not looking for his cool. Draymond Green is out there playing basketball the way he knows how from his days at Michigan State. And I don't know where he played as a youth in Saginaw, but I would imagine that he played a lot like this. I don't think that Draymond flipped a switch and decided to become a competitive, argumentative, combative, physical, dominating force like at a certain point in his career. So whatever we want for Draymond Green, it's not what he wants.
But he says it's what he wants. He says it's what he wants.
But it's not really what he wants.
He says that he needs to find a way to stay on the floor.
What he wants, Mark, is to not get texts.
Steve came on our show 2 weeks ago and said Draymond's working on it behind the scenes and I don't want to tell you anything more.
Right.
He insinuated that there are things going on to help Draymond find his cool.
Well, let me just say this on behalf of, myself and whoever else out there believes what I believe. I'm not buying it. And he can go through whatever anger management or behavioral control or looking at film and all the rest of it. You watch Draymond Green play today, he plays the exact same way that he's played for the better part of 10 years.
Yep.
He's not trying to be any different. If Draymond Green was trying to be different, then he wouldn't be mimicking or mocking the refs for not calling a carry after spending 3 minutes berating the refs for another call they missed. That's not what you do when you are working on yourself. And I don't believe that he is trying to change one iota, because I do believe that he thinks that this version of Draymond is the best version of Draymond. And it's hard to argue because they won 4 titles with this Draymond. So I don't think that he's looking for his cool or not. Now, can he be more productive? Can he hit a 3 when you need him to hit a 3 late in the game? Sure, that'd be nice. I'm more fixated on Klay Thompson, because Klay Thompson is not playing the way you need Klay to play, even though he had a good game last night.
Really good first half.
Great first half.
Great first
and then,
half.
Second half was so-so, and just the way that the whole team kind of devolved around him. This team is not playing with the joy, and you mentioned it yesterday. It was the theme of the show. Where's the joy? And there was joy yesterday in the first half, and then there was no joy in Mudville after halftime.
Oh, there was joy in Mudville. They lit that stupid beam.
Yeah. Did you stick around for that? The beam lighting?
No.
Yeah,
you know how it is.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm looking for ways to turn the TV off.
I think it was a late game, 10 o'clock.
I don't want to, and I know it was on TNT. Actually, it was on long enough to hear Kenny rip Draymond. I did see that.
I missed that.
Yeah, Kenny basically was like, dude, you've been in the league for too many years to be acting like this.
Yeah.
But that's my point. Maybe I'm not even saying it right in terms of Draymond searching for his cool. Everybody is. The team is. Steph is. We are. There's 2 things we watch that are the stories within the story. Klay searching for his shot, and will Draymond implode? How about if I say it that way?
That's fair.
I just think people are kind of worn out on watching that show.
And I wonder which one has worn you out more at 888-957-9570, because for me, it's really close, because Klay searching for his shot, and you look at the end of the third quarter where you got the offensive rebound, you had a chance to maybe bleed the clock all the way down to where Sacramento couldn't get another possession, and Klay gets it, and immediately the ball goes up, and you look at Draymond Green and the constant, and maybe it's because I'm an official, and you pointed this out a couple weeks ago, and you're right, I do look at the game in a certain way. And, I've got a statement to make about where the league is right now, and maybe I'll save it for Steve Kerr. But the league is broken right now in terms of watchability. That game last night was entertaining in many ways, but it was also very unwatchable. There were 72 free throws.
Yeah.
72 free throws. That's too many.
Who do you blame for that, though?
I blame the league.
The league? Why the league?
Well, because we've gotten to a point now where we have to call everything. And it used to be where, you drive to the hoop and there's contact and you got to finish through contact. You're going to get hit. Now, every time somebody gets hit, we call a foul.
But it is a foul. By the definition of the rule, I would much rather we play by the rules.
Well, I would much rather we get to a point where, like, for example, Kevon Looney got that bounce pass, the no-look pass from Steph Curry, and he goes up for the dunk, and he gets absolutely massacred.
Right.
It's Kevon Looney. We don't call the foul. And they didn't block the shot, and he went up to dunk it, and they hit one of his arms so hard that he lost the ball.
I remember the play. Yep.
No foul.
Yep.
So that's not a foul, but De'Aaron Fox dribble, and I get nudged, and because I throw myself to the ground, that's a foul. We've gotten to a point now where there's so much subjectivity, and there is so much, like, complaining. Every contact now, we throw ourselves down. And Steph Curry, Steph Curry throws out his leg, and he goes down, and it's an offensive foul. That used to just be like a big nothing.
I don't know if I agree with that. I just think
it's just too much.
It's not as physical as it used to be, but players have always complained, and as old as Naismith himself is the idea of doing things on a basketball court to embellish what just happened for the eyes of the refs. That's never not been that way.
I'll do a deep dive on number of fouls called and number of free throws taken. Last night, to me, was maybe the tipping point in my own mind of what's wrong with the league. 72 free throws in a 48-minute game is way too many. And it used to be where, there's contact and maybe you don't get the call. And now every time there's a bump or a nudge, how many offensive fouls on screens did we have last night?
Yeah.
And
well, it's two things. A, the Warriors foul a lot. So, I put it on the Warriors, and it's also they've gotten, Steve's talked to us about this before, the players have gotten really good at doing things that make it look like they got fouled.
Right.
They've all gotten really good at pulling the wool over their eyes.